So this is a note about tidal current presentations in eChart navigation, and in particular we're looking here at qtVlm, and we're looking at tidal currents. And then and I want to stress that there's two ways to do this, and I'm looking at the second type here. First of all, we have these arrows up here at the top, and we can just turn this on, and that will just show all the stations right here, and then we can click a station and then look at the details with what the currents are, and then we can go look at different dates and times like that. So that's a very nice feature, but I want to stress that that is nothing. That data there is nothing to do with the eChart itself. These ENCs, we have 3 or 4 of them loaded here. Those data here come from, if I do Command V and then look at grids and harmonics, we have loaded a particular set of harmonic data. Now it turns out, and I'll show this in a moment, we've loaded very good, accurate harmonic data. Not all programs have good harmonic data. This is a particularly good set, which I'll show, and we actually have demonstrated that in other places. But that's coming from this data here, this harmonics data, which we actually get from NOAA. And then we display and compute the currents and tides with the basis of that. But it's not included in the data itself. I mean, not included in the ENC. That's laying on top of the ENC. But the ENCs themselves also have data in them. And that is an object, and then we can find them different ways. I can tell you what the object is. Let me just see. Well, one way to find one is we can turn these on, because these always come up next to one of the NOAA stations. So there should be a NOAA station next to this, but we have to zoom in enough. Oh, and I may not be. Let me just see. Shift Command D. Let me be sure. Okay, so I don't see any right there. Okay, so let me just back up for a minute. We want to look for an ENC object called tidal streams, flood, and ebb. Now, but first, how are you going to know what that's called? And that we get here. We've got to go back to this this online chart object catalog, S57, and then you can just type up here tidal stream, and you see here's what the abbreviation is. TS_FEB. So it's tidal stream, flood, and ebb. These are always 6 capital letters. This happens to have a dash. Okay, so that's the object name that we're going to search for. And then this has a category of the tidal stream, and when you click that, it's flood stream or an ebb stream. And then it also has, and what's it say here? A tidal stream, horizontal movement of the water, approximate. Okay, now here's something important to read, and I want to stress. This is the ENC rules, the official S57 ENC rules. Approximate tidal stream rates may be given as discrete rate values for flood and ebb during springs. So that's here the whole point, during springs. Now, the spring currents and tides are about 20% larger than the average. And what I want to show in a moment is the U.S. does not do it that way. U.S. does not do the spring values. They just do the average values. That's one of the things we're leading up to. So that's that, and then you've got the values. So now we know what the thing is called, TSM. Now we can go back here and find all these stations if we want to here. And now, but we're going to use Command F. And then we can't just search for this because these don't have names. Oh, I wonder if you just put ebb here. What do you get? You get nothing. Okay, that won't work. Okay, so you do have to go and put in displayed. We're going to search for actual object names. But I want to be a reminder here. When you use this search, when you're just searching here, you just have to have these charts loaded. You don't have to do anything else. But when you want to search for individual objects, and I've done it here, you can see I've done it. Oh, these things are open too. I don't need that. Let me close that. But you do have to just have viewed the charts, have loaded them onto the screen. Then we can do Command F, go up here. We can go up here to displayed charts, and now the object, that's right, feature. the feature we want, and actually I can type a T in here, I think. Feature. I'll put a T in there. That'll get me to the T's. And what do I want here? Tidal stream. Here it is. Tidal stream, flood and ebb. So I want to find all of those that are on these charts that we're looking at. And I actually don't need any other parameters. Okay, good. So that's how many there are. And these are the official NOAA tide and current stations that are embedded, programmed, encoded right into the charts. Now, it looks like some of those are Canadian. Those are Canadian up at the top. Let me just say take this one here, and then I just double click it, and it'll go there. And you see, so there it found it. There it found one, and they show up this way. And they show up this way, and let me see, where are we? Point Wilson. But here's the thing. Now these are the objects, and I can right-click this object, right-click it, and ask for vector chart elements. And did I get it? No, I didn't find it. So it looks like you have to be on the feather over here. Yeah, tidal stream. It's a current velocity 3.4. 3.4, and that's the average direction of the flood down this way. Then there's a note here. Let's look at the note. Look at the note. Tidal current vectors represent the average maximum speed of flood and ebb currents of the flow, average maximum speeds of flood and ebb. So that takes all of the maximums. That takes all of the maximums and averages them. Not just the spring or not just the neap tides, but all of them. So the value that NOAA is quoting here is about 20% lower than the equivalent of what the British or the Canadians might be doing on theirs. And likewise up here is the flood. And then you'll see these icons here, and this is what we always teach. The flood has the feathers. The flood has the feathers. Except, unfortunately, if you look at the raster charts, these symbols are actually on the raster charts, although they're very hard to see and not many, we may not have noticed them after sailing for years with these charts. But here's the data, and it's right there on a raster chart, but the flood doesn't have the feathers. But there's a big F here, so I guess that's how you get away with it. F, flood, ebb, like that. Okay, so let's go back to the vector charts, and I want to actually, because I grabbed some data for one of these, I want to go over here to Protection Island somewhere. There's one, this may be it here. Let me right click this and see if this is the so-called Violet Point Station. Wait a minute. This maybe doesn't tell me the station. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, it doesn't tell me the station. I don't care about that. I can find the station by turning on the one that comes with the program, and then right-click it and ask for detail. Okay, that's a Violet Point. Okay, that's the one I wanted because I wanted to make a point here about this. And the point is this, that these charts, the ENC and the RNC, they're doing away with, and so they're not updating those. But some aspects of the ENC are not quite updated either. And that's happened here with NOAA, with these tide and currents. And we can't blame the chart makers. This is just a sort of an issue of a lack of communication between the various departments of NOAA. But this data here is not the latest data. And here's, you see, let me show you something. This is, let's see, 107. Is that the right data? 107. Am I in the right station? Let me get to the right station. I want to just be sure I'm at the right station. Here's Violet Point, and then this says, no. Okay, excuse me. I'm just all mixed up. What I'm reading, when you look here and you've turned on this function here, you're reading the current right at the moment, live, at this particular time right here. That's not what I'm after. I want to go look at this one, this data here, where they say that this flood direction, see if we come back in here and Google this, not Google, cursor pick that guy, still not quite getting it. Let me put it, it looks like you have to pick the feathers, the flood itself. You see it says 0.6 in direction 119, 120. And then you go up here, and this one says it's 1 knot in direction 325. Now this is the latest ENC, and that is in fact the same thing. If I go here and quit that, that's the same thing the RNC says. And those, I want to point out, are both wrong. They're outdated by quite a few years, actually. Maybe 2 or 3. About 3 years ago, NOAA updated that data. And, however, this shows then the virtue that we have of putting in the right harmonic constants. Because if we go in here, if I cursor pick, let's see, wait just a minute. Okay, so I cursor pick, I'm getting this stuff on the ENC, which I'm arguing is wrong. Now let me come down here and click this and ask for details here. And you see what it says here is that the flood direction is 102, and that the ebb direction is 290. Now, this display doesn't give us the average values, but it's telling you these directions. And these directions for the average values are not the same as these. And if I go back and let's see, how can we look at this? Well, here's one way to look at it. Here's that point right now. And you see the proper values here. The mean flood direction is 102 and the mean ebb direction is 290. And that's exactly what the harmonics give us. But the data on the ENC itself, in this case, is a little bit old. And well, it's about 3 years old. And so, but the other factor is, let me go back and go to this. And we don't have a way to look and figure out what these average values are. We don't have an easy way to get that out of the harmonics right now. But the values shown here on this printout of the chart here, these values are not right. They're not right. You see, violet point is the flood. The flood is 0.8 at 102. So the flood, it should be 0.8, and this should be 102, not 125. And the other one is 0.6. See, not 1, but it's 0.6. 0.6, and it's in direction 290, not that. So, okay, so that's a long story. So what I want to point out is there's 2 ways to get currents out of a modern eChart navigation program. One is from the embedded tidal stream object called TS_FEB, and that's on the chart. And what I want to caution is that data can be old. You have to check it. All of this stuff we have to check because NOAA has changed the way they're doing the tide and current predictions these days. There's no more. This book here I'm looking at happens to be the last one they ever printed. That was 2020, last year. This book does not exist for 2021. We have articles on that. However, if you're careful and you get good harmonic data, which is easy to test because you compare it with their actual predictions, when you have good harmonic data, then you can use this, and then basically we'll just override and not use this data in the background. Well, sorry, a longer story than I'd hoped for, but that's a discussion of this ENC object compared to getting accurate harmonics.